All right, you guys, writing an equation from a graph, it's the same way we wrote it from the table. I can see both my x-intercepts here, so I'm going to use factored form. And I definitely have another point so I can figure out how fat it is. So if I have y equals a times x minus root 1 times x minus root 2, then I have y equals a times x minus, my first intercept is -2, so that's where you got to be careful, minus -2, times x minus, my second one looks like +3, so that's fine. Then I'm going to use this point that is 2, -4. So everywhere I see an x, I'm going to put 2. Everywhere I see a y, I'm going to put -4 to solve for a. So 2 minus a negative is the same as plus. So I'm going to do 2 plus 2 and 2 minus 3. So -4 equals a times 2 plus 2 is 4. And 2 minus 3 is -1. And look, a is just going to be 1 again. I have -4 equals a times 4 times -1 is just -4. So -4 and -4 are the same, so a has to be 1. So I'm going to go back up to the top, and I'm going to erase the a. And I'm going to put a 1 there. And that is now my equation. Oops, not that one. Now I messed up. The bell messed me up. The 1 goes where this a is, 1. That is my actual equation, not the one with the r, the one with the actual numbers. And the last 3 questions, it wants you to complete the square. So hopefully we practice these today in class. Let's just go through them one by one. We have x squared minus 8x, I'm doing the first one, x squared minus 8x equals, oops, I don't want to do that, I want to leave a space, plus a space equals -5. All right, so I need to take half of -8, which is -4, and square it. And -4 squared is +16. And I've changed the equation. I've added 16 to one side, so I have to add 16 to the other side. So my right-hand side of the equation is +11. And my left-hand side, I'm going to change that. Remember half of -8 was -4? So I have x minus 4 squared. Now I'm going to take the square root of both sides. And I get x minus 4 equals positive and negative, square root 11. Then I add 4 to both sides. So x equals positive and negative, square root of 11 plus 4. So my 2 answers, my first one is the positive part. And my second answer is the negative part. But we add 4 to both times. And then let me pull up the calculator. Let's see what these numbers actually are. So we have, let's do the negative one first. Negative square root 11 plus 4. So approximately 0.683, right? And then I'm going to just hit enter again. I'm going to take the negative away. So it's the positive. And the other answer is 7.316. So you can see with how nasty these numbers are, that's why we complete this square instead of trying to factor, because you probably can't factor them. And it's probably just best to leave them exactly like this. These are perfectly acceptable answers. Okay? So let's get rid of this and let's do the next one. I would love for you to try to set it up by yourself before we get started, because on the test, you're not going to have me there to help you out with it. I mean, I will be there, but I can't help you out with it. So, but let's look at the second one. X squared plus 12x plus, leave a space, equals -4. Half of 12 is 6. 6 squared is 36. And I added 36, so I have to do -4 plus 36. So my right-hand side of the equation, I'm actually taking 4 away, so it's 32. And then my perfect square over here is half of 12 was +6 squared. Take the square root of both sides, and I get x plus 6 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 32. And x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 32 minus 6. We've got to subtract that 6 from both sides. Now, so that means our first answer is positive, the root of 32 minus 6. And our second answer is negative, the square root of 32 minus 6. Okay, I've seen a lot of people trying to make this +6 and -6, but that's not correct. They're both the same, -6. Okay, last one, and then people are desperately trying to get in here for lunch, but I want to finish this so you guys have it uploaded. The last question, completing the square. Please, 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 please try to do it on your own. I have 3x squared minus 12x. Oh, this is a little bit more complicated. Let's do this first. Equals 7. If the number in front of x squared, it will not be like this on the test, but if it is, I have to factor it out first. So 3 can go into 3 and 3 can go into 12. So I'm going to do 3, and this is going to become x squared minus 4x plus, I'm going to leave a blank space, equals 7. Okay? Now this 3 is going to make some changes. On the inside, I have negative x squared, half of -4 is -2, -2 squared is +4, equals 7. Now you're thinking to yourself, hey, Miss Binkley, I added 4 to one side, I have to add 4 to the other side. But you have not just added 4. You've added 4, but this out here says you've added 4 3 times. So you've actually added 12. So on the other side, you have to add 12. Will not be like this on the test. But now I have 3 times x minus 2 squared equals 19. And now before I take the square root, I have to divide both sides by 3. So x minus 2 squared equals 6 1/3. Now take the square root. X minus 2 equals positive and negative, the square root of 6.33 approximately. And then add 2 to both sides. So my two answers are x1 is positive, the square root of 6.33, oops, all under, plus 2. And x2 equals the same thing, but negative square root 6.33 plus 2. All right, good luck with your studying, and let me know if you have any more questions.